We are tubing.
Tubular.
Tubing is confirmed. So looks good, sounds good. So we are live on both streams. Welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a finally Friday, and we are here mainly to provide you with support and answer any questions about our products and services. Definitely, if you have any of those, please feel welcome to jump over to our IRC chat, and you can get to that at foolishtechshow.com. Have a couple ways you can join it from there, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you directly. Otherwise, we're going to spend the time talking about random stuff that interests us or not interest us or whatever. So here we go. How's everybody doing today?
Doing very well. Tired, but well, thank you.
All right. Well, we've had a lot going on this week, so we're pretty much ramping up for release of Crypto Prevent here in the short time period ahead, and we been working all this week on making some final touches on the honeypot testing, and if Michael is testing that edition that I just gave him, we'll find out if it's working good or not. Otherwise, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, Phoenix has something for us. Let me get that link here you posted. So Phoenix apparently just discovered Chocolate, which is a program that installs and updates apps and such. And we have talked about it on the show before. I believe Glenn was actually the one that referenced it to us at first. But he went and made a D72 config for it, and he said it's posted there. I have yet to get a chance to test it, so caution, I guess. But let us know how it works, and he's tested it on his side and said everything works. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to install Chocolate on that system, and it's set to update stuff anyway, so it should go through and updating apps and keep them updated. I believe that's going to be how it works. Is that correct, Phoenix? But you can also use it to install other programs, I believe, easily. And what he mentioned there is he's still working on a Crypto Prevent free install thing for them so that it can be available on their stuff to be able to install. So cool deal. Good work there, Phoenix. We're excited to test that, and we may end up adding it to the default apps. And yeah, so thank you for that. And what else we got? What else we got today? Oh, so Windows updates came out recently, as you well all may know. And on Windows 10, there has been a cumulative update for Windows 10, and it's referenced by this KB article here. The reason I bring this up is because I had this happen when I tried to run updates on my Windows 10 system. Apparently, this KB is apparently for some reason getting stuck at downloading at either 45% or 95%. In my case, it was stuck at downloading 95% and just didn't do anything. It never aired out, never gave you any messages. Never, if you restarted your system, it would come up and say there were issues installing. It'll try again, or you can try again now. Trying again, it ends up downloading, gets stuck at the same point. So not sure what the details are on that. Maybe Martin has some more information on his article there. But I did end up finding that going to the Windows catalog, you can download this app. You can download this update manually and install it, and I've done that, and it works. So I didn't use this actually to do it because it actually would have been nicer because he put the direct links on it for you there. But for any Windows updates, you can use Internet Explorer. Yes, it has to be Internet Explorer. It can't be Edge in Windows 10. To go to the Windows Update catalog, and you can download any update from Microsoft that they've ever released. So if you didn't know that, that's pretty cool too. So thought that was good info. If everyone wants to check their Windows 10 updates and they notice that's happening, easy way to fix it. What else do we got today that was interesting? Oh, so Malwarebytes put out a alert today that apparently DetoxCrypto Ransomeware is imitating them all the way down to the point where the file version information has similar names. They do misspell the name and make it Malwarebytes instead of Malwarebytes, but otherwise it looks like it's fairly close and imitates Malwarebytes, so that you think you're installing or running a scan of Malwarebytes, and then it installs the DetoxCrypto, which Bleeping Computers did a article about, and it's very focused on Pokemon. So apparently they were just fans of Pokemon and decided to make a malware related or ransomware related to it. So that's not very cool, but hey, there you go. I thought this was a pretty interesting article. Apparently DARPA wants to set up aerial dragnets to monitor urban drone traffic. And it looks like they'd have a few high-powered drones floating around urban areas, and then would be specifically looking for and monitoring drone usage in that area. I could see this as being good, especially since, like yesterday, we talked about they already got burritos being dropped by drones. So you can only imagine that there's going to be a lot more drones in the air. So if you thought recreational drones were aggravating, be ready for commercial drones. And I bet you're not going to get the same leniency when you shoot down a commercial drone, especially like if Amazon's delivering packages with it and you shoot them down. You're not going up against Joe Smo that got a drone for Christmas. You're going up against Amazon. So be careful about that kind of stuff.
Need more ammo, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you're going to need to make sure that that drone doesn't hit your property and they can't trace those bullets back to you, because it is illegal to shoot things out of the air. The FAA looks at it essentially like you're shooting at an airplane, which we know in this day and age, even 15 years later, it is not a good idea to shoot at airplanes. Even point laser beams at them and you get jail time, I believe. So I thought this was awesome. I'm posting the Slashdot link because I can only imagine that the comments will be as good as the show itself. But Red Dwarf is coming back after 28 years.
Oh yeah, I saw that. They're picking up the season 11 or something like that.
Well, they did do like 3 episodes.
I thought they did.
It was back when I was in high school or college, or right after college, so around the 2000 time period. They did.
And it's all the original actors too. I mean, they never slipped anybody out, and they're all still alive and kicking.
I hope so. It would be awesome. But yeah, 28 years later, they're bringing it back, and yeah, I just think it's awesome, and that show is great and amazing. If you're a sci-fi person and like those kind of shows and British comedy, it's definitely a good show, and I highly recommend it. So very excited to see what they come back with 2 new seasons, and yeah, I just thought I'd point that out, and yeah, cool stuff. I thought this article was pretty cool that Tesla is building a battery backup to power Los Angeles, and it's going to be the largest battery backup in history. Very exciting to see more battery powered stuff going out there, because like that I would think be good for like brownouts and things like that. Maybe that will even eliminate brownouts and things like that. So hopefully that will spread across the nation quickly. And of course, the more that Tesla makes of batteries like these, hopefully the quicker the prices will drop for them, and we'll be able to have them even at the consumer level, because still feel kind of hard paying 10, 15K for a battery backup that goes on my wall, which you can see the recommended story down there that relates to that for the home users. And Phoenix posted a couple links here. I'll repost them here. So apparently Signal, the encrypted chat messenger, is coming out with an update that you shouldn't skip. Not sure why, but maybe it's because they had something broken and you need to update it. He also posts that instead of spending $1.3 million, the FBI could have hacked an iPhone in just $100. Those both kind of sound like clickbait articles. I'm not reading them yet, so y'all be the judge of it, I guess. This one's not a clickbait article because Easy to Boot's pretty awesome, but Easy to Boot Beta 4 is available, which looks like it supports UEFI and Grub 2 and PTN 2. So check that out. Definitely an awesome program. Still, actually, I've been finding that most of the time I'm defaulting to my Zalman virtual disk. Most all of my systems that I use regularly support it, so I haven't had to fall back to the Easy to Boot yet, but I mean, most of my systems are on the newer side, so they would support it. But Proctor, are you still using that Zalman?
Yeah.
Have you found that you set it up with the Easy to Boot style too, right?
Yeah, I did. I've had a lot of issues with the Easy to Boot setup though.
Oh, you should talk to Phoenix. He has a lot of answers for it.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues with it, but like I said, I think there was only one system, and that was at like somebody else's house that I've had to use the Easy to Boot booting from. Everything else, the Zalman's been detecting pretty well for me. How have you been seeing that? Like,
yeah, I've had a lot of systems that that the Zalman will not boot to the Zalman virtual CD.
It won't see it, or it won't boot to it.
Boot to it, I believe.
Yeah, if it recognizes it, then usually I've had it okay.
Maybe 50%.
Well, you do deal with a lot more systems than I do, so. He said to make sure you're using the latest version.
Okay, I haven't updated it in quite a while.
But yeah, I mean, if you have it set up like that, at essentially that point it would be either or. If it doesn't recognize or boot to the Zalman, then you can Easy Boot will be the USB flash drive style and should be able to boot to that in any kind of system. So probably would not plug it into USB 3 still. I would probably try to stick to USB 2 if it isn't, like if you're trying to do the flash drive booting. Oh, and this is a good article. Phoenix points out that the EU open Wi-Fi operators will not be liable for pirate users. doesn't that kind of just open up, like, being able to pirate anything, though? Like, I guess it kind of supports having more open and public Wi-Fi, because those are actually getting slim and hard to come by. But still, like, essentially, if they did that here, I would just open up my guest wireless access as free, and I wouldn't be liable for anything that happened to be downloaded, pirated on my IP address. Maybe a reason to move to the EU now. And apparently he also pointed out that the alleged KickassTorrents owner is being denied access to U.S. Counsel. So that's not cool. No way that they could, like, point that out as terrorism or national security. So I don't see why he would be denied it. But if that's true, then wouldn't that be good for him? Because that would mean his case would be pretty much thrown out and irrelevant. I came across an interesting article today that apparently Judge Judy is super against computers and technology. I didn't know that first part, but the part that was a little bit more interesting to me is that she reportedly makes a salary of $47 million per year. Judge Judy, where the stuff is not even
Real?
like actual court. Like, nothing that happens there is realistic or.
Well, I mean, she
anything.
was a judge, though, I believe. So
She was a judge, but anything that happens on that show is not enforceable. Like,
no.
those people aren't going to be like, Judge Judy said you got to pay me, and you're going to be arrested if you don't pay me. That ain't going to happen. It's not going to work out right.
Yeah.
So, still, she makes $47 million. That's insane.
But think of all the good she's bringing to the world. Wait.
No, she also hates technology. Not very good at all.
But she's donating all of her money to charity, right? Like all of it except for 100K, right?
I'm sure. I am very sure that's exactly what she's doing. But if that makes you as upset as it makes me, you can watch this rocket explode and feel a little bit better about it.
Is her show still on? She still has a show?
Yeah, that's what's
so, yeah.
surprising to me, that she still has the show.
I was kind of shocked at that fact
For
as
what,
well.
like 30, 40 years?
I don't watch TV much.
30 years at least? More? I don't know. It was in the 90s when I remember it. Was it in the 80s?
I think it said in that article.
Premiered on September 16th, 1996.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the year I graduated high school.
Now we know which year Michael graduated.
Yep. Now we can easily
More information
backdate it.
slipping.
We can easily backdate it to your approximate birth year. Because that's what, 12 years? Did you fail any classes?
All the time. I failed and was pushed ahead at random points throughout. 'Cause I switched a lot of states and
So this is the one cool thing that I've ever seen come out of Burning Man, and it's a T-Rex battle royale. So apparently, like, people got dressed up as T-Rexes and tried to fight each other. That looks pretty cool. It does not look like it worked out very well for the people in that GIF, but.
You ever been to Burning Man, Brantley?
What's that?
You ever been to Burning Man?
No, I do not plan to.
Me either.
what do you think about
I have a cousin that goes almost every year, I think.
Yeah, I had a friend that's been several times.
yeah, I read an interesting sci-fi story about that, that they basically you know, they sent like what am I gonna say? A 3D printer. They put it out into the desert. It uses sand to build things, apparently, and they you know, had a good little experiment out there in the desert during that week when they do that. And apparently they brought the idea to fruition over the course of this guy's entire life, you know, because he didn't exactly have all the resources in the world, and then like effectively terraformed the moon at some point in time. That was interesting, but I don't think that many great ideas come out of Burning Man, or maybe I'm wrong. I just haven't heard of any.
Well, as far as I understand it, it seems like it's more a like elite like crowd that goes out there now to act like they're being spiritual and whatever, and like it's apparently, as all things, as it grows in popularity, it changes from what the original values and things were. But
yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't. It's probably still a good time, but I mean, I feel like it's kind of like going to the difference between going to Woodstock in the '60s and going to Woodstock in the '90s.
Yeah.
So very different thing there.
Before we get too far away from the article that I posted there, you know, so okay, well, it doesn't surprise me what things that Russia and some of these foreign regimes do, but the fact that they cited it from information, you know, from saying that, you know, effectively saying that it's harmful. I mean, I don't understand their idea of about to children and it being harmful, possibly, but you know, taking all websites down as a result of that, that's a little bit broad. But yeah, if it's really as harmful, you're doing it wrong, right? Sorry, that's my 2 cents.
That's pretty mean. All right, is that all you had there?
Yeah, that's the best I can do for jokes. Sorry.
All right. Well, so they got the new iPhone 7 out, right? And
so poor timing for Samsung, by the way, that they just had to recall their note.
Yeah, but apparently there are several places that you can sell your old iPhone at, and the prices vary wildly. This chart tries to break down some of the estimated iPhone trade-in prices depending on which model you got. Obviously, it looks like you can only go back 2 versions prior to the newest released one, and then it probably gets to the point where no one will purchase it for anything. But I was pretty surprised that Amazon picked up about the highest, and then Apple was actually about the second highest. Although it's weird that Apple won't buy back the 6S or the 6S Plus.
I would think they would want people to move on to it, and you know, even a weak buyback program relatively would probably instigate several sales, even if the compensation weren't.
And it's interesting too that the 6 and the 6 Plus, you only get gift cards from Apple and Amazon.
Really?
Amazon for the 6S and the 6S Plus, you only get gift cards as well.
Oh, Glenn found the sand printer. That very similar to that. I wonder if that actually might have influenced the author of that sci-fi I read. I'm not sure. Bradley, did you happen to see this? I thought this was neat, and they seem to be about as into homebrew routers or gateways and edge devices as you are. So that's yeah, that's pretty in depth about what they did in their router and a bunch of tests against it to compare it against what's on the market. And they do their newest version does use pfSense 231, I believe. And they they throw it up against a lot of others. I think that's quite informative. I haven't read it all the way through yet, but I look forward to doing that this weekend.
How come I get the requested URL could not be retrieved on that?
I don't know. I'm looking at it right now.
What happens if you refresh?
I get the same page.
That's weird. Why does it not let me copy this?
But if you don't want to, jump right in yourself and try it out, this will give you a good idea of what to expect.
I don't think that site exists.
ArsTechnica.com doesn't exist? Yeah, Glenn's saying it's working for him.
I still don't think that site exists, Glenn.
Anyway, I like that article. So take a look and tell me what you guys think.
So if you're interested to know how Burning Man was, you can watch that video. And I feel like that kind of explains why I'll probably never be going to Burning Man. It definitely reminds me of the ultra spiritual videos. It wasn't from ultra spiritual videos, but it definitely reminds me of his.
Anybody got an old Apple II lying around you want to update? I'm sorry to interrupt. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Were you finished?
No.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My bad. No, I feel bad. No. I just blurted it out. That was rude of me.
I don't even know what you were talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, the Apple II, if you got one lying around, apparently there's this hardcore fan who apparently released some something called ProDOS 2.4.
Ooh.
So it
and
DOS that runs on an Apple II?
It looks, yeah, that's what it appears to be. Oh my God, it runs on less than 1 kilobyte of RAM. Wow. But there's an emulator for it, by the way, on that site, I believe, so that you can try it out and see for yourself.
How much RAM was it that Bill Gates said that we would never need more than? Like 384, wasn't it?
640K.
640. It was 640, but apparently, according to this guy, you don't need more than 1K. No, that's not true. But
well, back on the iPhone 7, I've seen a couple of articles for this, and I'm posting the Slashdot one because it looks like they got them all gathered up here. So apparently, Apple took away the iPhone's headphone jack and replaced it with a fake speaker grill. Although Apple reports to The Verge that it's actually a barometric vent. And apparently by adding all the waterproofing to iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus meant that it was more of a sealed box. So to be able to have accurate and working barometer, because you use that so much on your phone, Apple used that space, and the barometer is the thing that allows the phone to measure altitude. And Apple pointed out that on iPhone 7 it can even measure minor changes like climbing a flight of stairs. The only device I think I have a barometer on is my Motorola Zoom, and as far as I understood, that it was for monitoring air pressure, not height.
That's
Am I
what
wrong?
The barometer did.
Yeah, am I wrong in that?
An altimeter measures height.
Yeah, so why are they calling it a barometer?
Because they're wrong.
That's what I assume.
A barometer is an instrument measuring atmospheric pressure used especially in forecasting the weather and determining altitude.
I guess you could determine your altitude based on the air density.
But see,
like
it has.
Sounds like it
I don't
requires
see how that
math.
would be very precise.
It has to use the GPS data because even for the barometer to work, it has to know exactly where you are and to know what the barometer is supposed to be expecting. Like I looked into all this stuff when I had gotten the Motorola Zoom, which was the first Android tablet, and they had one of those on there for some unknown reason. But I looked into all of this and figuring it all out and understanding it all, and now I've forgotten most of it because I could never get it to really work. But like it has to use GPS data to be able to even use the barometer to even figure out weather stuff. So I would assume it would have to use it to figure out altitude if it's basing it off of that. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. If it's even real. What else do we got?
Just again, we want to put all this technology, in the stories regarding the cameras on police officers and things like that. We want to put all this, technology, the recording, surveillance stuff, but it's very important for them to also know how to use the tools that they're getting in these police stations. So this was a case of them, not knowing and mistakenly deleting a lot of body cam footage. I don't know how important that is.
Mistakenly.
Yeah, that's another questionable part about that too. Is it's so easy for them. I got hacked and all our data's gone. Or,
That's kind of why, like, I don't feel like the body cam stuff is going to change anything, because they're not making that data publicly accessible right off the bat. The police department gets to hold it, review it, and then if it gets submitted into court, then it becomes publicly available. Like, you can't even go up to the police and be like, hey, you arrested me and you had that body cam on. Can I get that footage? No? Are you, really? Oh, well, great. Same thing with the cop car cams. You can't get that footage either unless it's in court. So.
So on a more technical note, even though that did mention technology, on a more technical note that's probably near and dear to a lot of our hearts as it is mine, there's another retro NES console that is pretty interesting. Now I believe this is an expensive one.
How many NES consoles can be interesting? Come on.
Let's see. No. Actually, let's see.
An NES console?
It's 185.
Are you talking about an NES console?
Yeah, Nintendo.
Because there's no such thing as a NES console.
Like Nessie, like
NES. That's, yeah.
I know what you're getting at, Brantley.
Yeah. When there is a MAME arcade, but there is no such thing as a NES.
Arcade?
Huh?
This relies.
NES.
MAME is an actual word, where NES is a.
It's an acronym.
Not if you're referring to the arcade emulator. It's multiple arcade machine emulator.
Yeah.
It's an acronym, not a word.
I thought MAME was the actual arcades that came out.
Multiple arcade machine emulator.
Yeah, that's it. So it takes ROMs from those machines and utilizes them that way.
Busted.
No, I thought the actual arcade was called a MAME.
No.
Like the actual OS that was running on those.
You're probably a little bit too young to have actually been into the old school arcades much, but yeah.
Or I just didn't waste my time there.
Yeah, that's maybe true. I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. It was
although the one person that I know that did waste their time there is now playing Super Street Fighter for money and living off of that. So.
I am not.
Wow.
Huh?
I said I am not.
Yeah.
First off, Street Fighter 4 is really the only thing worth, but Super Street Fighter, that's old school.
I don't know. It was just a reference one. I think he actually does the Marvel versus Capcom stuff.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
Well, if you can make money off of it and live off of it, it doesn't matter what it is. It's pretty good.
Well, it's still ghetto anyway. But you're also talking to someone who only bought the PlayStation 3 for Street Fighter 4. And that's the only game I have for it. Well, except for the one that came with it, which I've never played.
Well,
I don't know.
Speaking of expensive things, apparently Dyson, who is known for super expensive things like fans, is coming out with a hairdryer. Guess how much it costs?
$1 billion.
400.
Wow. Well, my next guess was going to be around 5, but
Yeah. $400 for a hairdryer. Although they claim it is designed to last for 10 years. I do not see them claiming that it has a 10-year
Warranty.
guarantee.
or that it works worth a crap. Do they claim that?
They do claim that it probably works worth a crap. I didn't read the full article, but I was just like, why are they coming out with a hairdryer? And geez, did they own that patent and they're just trying to make a ton off of it? Apparently so, because there's no other fans like Dyson with the particle acceleration and stuff. So, I mean, it's really cool technology. I wish they would not have it so proprietary and ridiculously expensive.
It's not completely. I mean, there's other companies that do something similar. It's not that magical what they do. It's your air filters. Typically, some high-end air filters actually do the same thing. So
Neat.
like ions in the air or something like that, charged ion.
Yeah, an ion particle accelerator type thing.
You make it sound a whole lot more glamorous than it actually is. But yeah,
It is glamorous compared to a freaking rotor spinning around that actually
Hey.
is adding more
I
heat.
was in my dentist's office when
that's how we got in the air. Remember, that's how
out with one of them little things with the
we
little
discovered flight.
Yeah, but those things are actually adding heat to the room that they're trying to cool off. Like, that's the problem.
Well,
Like,
this is
spinning-
no. So
No, the Dyson ones
Yeah.
don't do that, but the old
Oh.
ones, the ones that spin and have blades and stuff, those have huge motors on the back of them that are heating up the room and the air that they're pulling and
I
pushing
don't
towards
think-
you.
I mean, I imagine there's probably an improvement in efficiency, but they do still use electricity, and I'm sure it's not 100% efficient conversion of that electricity. So I imagine there's some heat loss somewhere in that. Whether or not it competes against a more traditional motor is questionable. But anyway, I don't think any of us are going to be spending the $400 or whatever dollars on this.
No, I have seen a Dyson in action that's been running all day in hot country weather, and I felt it, and it's cool to the touch because I was interested in that. And I've seen all of the fans that I have, they all get warm to the touch after they've been running all day. So
Well, then that is good.
there is a big difference in that.
I haven't had any firsthand experience with it, so I'd defer to you on
They
that.
should do a Dyson that blows water mist on you too.
They do have some more advanced Dysons. I don't know if they have that one particularly, but it seems like they would. It wouldn't be that hard. Just have a mister in front of the fans.
Oh. And like an outdoor one too. That would be awesome.
Can you not use those outdoors?
I don't know. I just wouldn't imagine it'd be weatherproof by default.
Oh yeah, no, I doubt that. But why do you need a fan when it's raining?
Well, I just need a fan that I don't have to carry in every.
Oh. I doubt that I would leave, because if it was outdoor and waterproof, I doubt that I would leave a $1,000 fan outside on my deck.
Good point.
Even in my backyard, probably would not be doing that.
Very good point.
Maybe if it was cemented to the ground, but then it would probably cost even more. So,
Well, I could do that myself.
well, I mean, obviously with the way Dyson works, if they add a feature that you want, it's going to cost $200 or $300 more. So,
Well, if they kick in the cement, I would hate to pay for the shipping.
yeah, that's true.
Mm.
Well, just a little bit more back on the iPhone 7.
Okay.
They were talking. One thing they didn't fix apparently is the touch disease. As far as I understand, it's still an issue in the latest version. But check out how easy it is to break this one. I mean, major complaints were coming out about the iPhone 6 being in your pants pocket and breaking, and just by like having it in your pants pocket. This one, like, he's barely applying pressure there, and the back cover snaps off already. That's pretty insane.
Didn't they say that people were just too rough with their stuff? Or something.
Yeah, so apparently they said that it has burn recovery, which that does look like it's working. That's pretty cool.
You know, you shouldn't abuse their stuff. It's still their stuff.
Yeah. You can burn the screen and it'll actually fix itself. That's pretty cool. Like burn it with a flame.
Yeah.
Apparently bending it just damages the waterproof adhesive. But still, it's...
How is it when you throw it on the ground? Because I know some teenage girls that do that.
I would imagine it's probably not good
anymore, but
apparently everyday coins and keys won't scratch it, but if you get up to a MOHS scale of 7 on mineral hardness, it will scratch it. 6 it looks like to me, but the back casing you can scratch and then just wipe off. That is pretty cool. And you can't move the earpiece even if you try. But the lens cover on the camera is not very scratch resistant, nor is the home button. It's a little bit better, but still. Not for the, it does not have a silent installer for the regular version. If you purchase a bulk version, then it would have a silent installer, but not for the regular version. I don't believe I did. Let me double check that. It might be on the beta one. It might be on the 7. Either way, you can try very silent, so / very silent, and see if that works. If not, then no, it doesn't. You have to have the bulk version. Nick, do you remember?
What?
If you had the regular installer version of CryptoPrevent available with a silent? No, it wouldn't.
No.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't, because there's no protections applied, so it wouldn't. It would be pointless to install it silently.
Well, we restrict that anyway. But the user prompts and everything you can't.
Yeah, because you have to register it, or it's going to ask you about registering, and then you'd be able to use other silent stuff. But there'd be no reason to install it silently because the protections wouldn't be applied, and you have to apply the protections once you install it. So, but if you get a bulk version, you can install it silently.
I mean, you can still. There's actually an additional switch to suppress. And the installer bot is there's very silent. There's also something like suppress MSG or something. But and that's all still for the installer itself. But the CryptoPrevent, it will always run CryptoPrevent, and CryptoPrevent will always prompt the user
with messages. So.
Well, yeah.
Yep. So that's not going to work that way.
It'll be the bulk.
I thought this was a pretty interesting article. I did not know that Notepad++ did this. Anyway, apparently you can find text in all files of a folder. So you can use the find text feature, which is really nice in Notepad++ anyway, but you can do it for all the text files inside of a single folder using one of their menu options. I thought that was pretty cool, especially with programming and stuff. If you have a lot of files that you need to search.
Wait, say first.
So
Oh.
nope.
Oh my God.
What? Notepad++ allows you to search text in all files of a folder.
Have you not noticed that? I do that
I
all the
did.
time.
I did not know that.
You have to read Martin's blog to know that.
I just saw it come up. I don't look me into the options of Notepad++.
It's like anytime you hit Control F, it's like another tab says find in files or whatever, and then you've got like subdirectories and things and checkboxes and things. It's man.
Yeah, I never look at that stuff.
I use that all the time. I'm looking for stuff in like my massive directories of code.
Usually I just like the auto highlighting feature. If you highlight one thing, it highlights everything else that's the same. That's usually how I find things easily.
I like that I like that it's got the code, the code, color coding for, your different formats of stuffs.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually configure that for different file extensions too, right?
Yeah.
You can actually even write your own syntax or something coding, but never mind. It's very, very awesome.
Phoenix, I would not make a version for the portable version. That one is no longer supported, and it's not going to work at all for version 8. So
you can do it. You can do it with the 7. I mean, we don't support it, but I mean, it also doesn't have some of the protections. It can't.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think there would be a reason to use the portable version, since the beta version's not going to have an installer that's silent either. Not for the free version. You got to get the bulk if you want a silent deployment.
Yeah. Gosh, I wish I consulted. That's kind of like the real selling point of the bulk.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't know it was going to require a silent version. If it does, then yeah, there's no reason of making a thing for it. But I figured that it would install it and then run through the prompts like it's supposed to. But if it doesn't do that, then yeah, there's no reason to have a Chocolate config for it. I thought this was pretty awesome. Apparently, there's a company out there that will build a real-life transforming car for you.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if you can actually drive that car, but still pretty awesome. Yeah, no, and like Nick said, that's part of the selling point of getting a bulk version, is that you have the option to do that, or even for the
definitely does if you want to buy it.
white label version. So it is a feature, but it is a premium style feature. So, and the portable version is never going to be done, especially since the newer protections in 8 rely on services. There's no way to have a portable.
Basically, you'd still be using version 7. Like the portable version of version 7 is a couple versions behind or something, because it doesn't use the newer stuff because it needs to be installed. But then there's, of course, the newer version will work portably.
I think you should talk to Chocolate and figure out why they're not allowing it to work that way without it being silent.
Yeah.
Like, it should just prompt the person and say, hey, what needs to be done? Can you do this? That would make more sense. What else we got? Well, we were talking about arcade machines. Apparently, someone went out and made a ridiculously small arcade machine. It's based off of a Raspberry Pi Zero. And Adafruit even is providing the arcade cabinet for it and the display and everything. And apparently you can play games on it. I feel like I don't see it. No, just no. No.
I have some unfortunate news.
Oh, what's that?
CBS is remaking MacGyver.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks nothing like MacGyver.
It's supposed to. They just want the name. It's crap, though.
How do you spell MacGyver?
MACGUYVER.
No one cares. But
GUVER or GUIVER?
Oh, now I don't know. Or no, it's MACGYVER.
There we go.
no,
Yeah, I think mentioned this morning, and thank you for bringing it up on the show. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to be. First off,
like trying to Google MacGyver one time and really having a problem spelling.
First off, the first thing Tank told me is the lead character doesn't have a mullet. So right off the bat, I'm already like, this is not worth it. There's no reason to even watch this. I bet he won't even use duct tape through the whole thing.
Or a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Some things they should better off just left alone. Unlike, well, I guess we'll find out if that other one, the sci-fi one.
As far as I know, if you want to watch actual MacGyver, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
Oh, that's good. They shouldn't remake some things unless they have the original cast. And if MacGyver came back right now, the original MacGyver, and they did a MacGyver the later years, that would
I'm
be
gonna
cool.
fix this with Geritol.
See, I thought Full House was going to be like that, the Netflix remake. So we watched the first episode. I was really hoping that Bob Saget would become like the character he normally is in stand-up, since we're older. But no, because that would have been funny. He's dirty.
Yeah, no, if Bob Saget was the way that he is in real life, then yeah, it would have been a way different show. Like, I believe they probably would have crossed too many lines there. Like, probably would have been like, hey, DJ, looking pretty good now.
Well, that's why I thought the Olsen twins weren't on the show or something because, I know he made some remarks about them in his stand-up.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense of why they wouldn't be there too. I thought this was a pretty clever dog toy. You can do it yourself and fairly cheap, very few materials required. Basically, a pipe and 3 empty 2-liter bottles will keep your dog entertained if you put some treats in the bottom of it.
Interesting. Well, it won't keep most dogs. You won't keep your dog entertained. Just eat it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Your dog would just eat that bottle.
You just share through the bottle.
Structured too.
Yeah. I would have to make mine out of titanium.
Yeah.
Even then, it may not last more than a week or so.
Well, at least, maybe if the bottles are, replaceable. Never mind.
The only downside about it is incredibly annoying sounding. Like, you thought squeaky balls were annoying sounding. Having a bottle spin around with treats in it is basically like just shaking a plastic bottle with rocks in it. You're going to get tired of that pretty quickly. Yeah, you can hear it right there.
Doggos can hear that.
You realize that's coming through the meeting too, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Not like.
Which we have to continue talking over it so that YouTube doesn't copyright content us.
Are you serious?
Automatically.
I don't have my audio routed to
the robots.
It's just a little bit through the mic. That's acceptable.
Oh, is it playing over your speakers?
No, it's just coming through my. Yeah. I've got my speakers on. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I was about to say, if it's coming through your headset, then man, you're going deaf in your other ear too. Yeah, and damn those YouTube bots. They are crazy. So if the original makers are making this, I am super excited about it. This is probably by far the best Batman that I feel was ever made. Batman the animated series. No, Batman the animated series. Like that's a super dark cartoon if you've never watched it. It's like it's far better than any of the live action movies by far.
I actually like the Christian Bale ones for darkness, but honestly, Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman. The Tim Burton doing them, that was really sweet.
Yeah, I like Christian Bale. I liked him being Batman as well. I didn't like it when he talked, but other than that, it was.
Yeah, that was so annoying. It was like the movie was so good until you started talking as Batman.
Yeah. Other than that, he did pretty good as it, and other ones have done pretty good at it too over the years. I don't really pick a best out of any of those, but as far as overall Batman in visual, animated or motion form, Batman the animated series was amazingly done. Like super high quality. The graphics and way they did the art is just, it's almost comic book-esque style, and it's just a really, really well done movie. It's one of those cartoons that's more for adults than it is for kids, but kids get just as much out of it. Or not as much out of it, but will enjoy it as well. But like the actual content and everything that they do in it is far beyond that. But anyway, they're coming out with a VR experience, so hopefully it's going to be available for something besides just their version. But I guess we'll end up finding out. Apparently, the Viewmaster.
Man, I'm sitting here wearing my headset and I just realized it's not.
You just muted.
Yeah, my headset, I was using my speakers.
Yeah, you do sound way clearer now.
Sorry about that. Shite.
It's okay. Yeah, if that is anywhere as close to as good as the actual series was, that's definitely going to be an awesome VR experience, and looks like it's worth even the $45 that they would charge if you just want to get that. But if you haven't seen the series, I highly, highly recommend it, because it is probably one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and even still to this day.
I'm really just upset that I've been wearing this headset the whole time for no reason.
So I think we can probably wrap up on this last one here, but it looks like, I forgot to mention yesterday that there was the season 6 of American Horror Story premiered, I believe Wednesday, and it was pretty good. A little weird to watch and weird to stay focused on because of this, which this article points out the same issue, saying that the theme of American Horror Story's new season is way less weird than the format. And I believe, as I was trying to describe it to Michael, who also likes AHS, Tank came up with a perfect analogy for it. Is essentially they're doing a unsolved mystery style of the story. So you have the actual people that it happened to telling you the story, then dramatic reenactions of the story happening as they're telling the story. So like the characters that are telling you the story that it really happened to are different characters than the ones in the dramatic real life reenactment. And it's very, very confusing to watch and get used to, because they don't like open it anyway, other than them just sitting down being interviewed telling the story, and then it flashing to these other characters actually portraying the story. So it's really weird to watch there, but I feel like the story is off to a good start. They got a lot into the first episode, so kind of interesting there. It is based around Virginia, Carolina, South Carolina area. I forget exactly where. It's called My Roanoke Nightmare. So I'm assuming it's Virginia or Outer Banks, North Carolina, along the lines. But they also did mention mountains were around the area, so it seems more like maybe South Carolina.
Don't give away too much. Don't give away too much.
Well, no, I mean in the show, they have like these huge. They're in a valley. The house that they purchased is in a valley,
Mm-hmm.
so there's mountains or at least large Piedmont-style hills around them, and that doesn't make sense for what they're like. They're also saying that it's near the coast.
I got you.
So I don't understand how that works. But
We'll figure it out as usual as the story progresses with those things. But I'm definitely going to try to catch an episode of it just to see what you're talking about with that whole unsolved. What did you say it was? Unsolved mysteries? Yeah.
Unsolved mystery style.
One thing I wanted to mention before we close out, though, is Phoenix had reported some very poor performance with Quick Hash. In fact, it was so bad I would almost call it slow hash. That was an oversight on my part. It was a performance regression during one of my updates, and I've resolved that. So hopefully we'll get an update out here either.
Andy added some new features.
Oh yeah, a bunch of new features actually, some surprisingly good ones based upon Brantley's and some other recommendations. So hopefully take a look at that, and we'll post it on the Quick Hash page, foolishit.com/quickhash, if you want to check it out.
And you'll be able to update your current version using the update button.
Yep, it doesn't auto do an update check, but that update button's always there at your
You
disposal.
should have it.
I was thinking of it, yeah, I know. Just I had some concerns about it being a portable app and doing some of that behavior, but
Yeah.
But okay, and I'm welcome to suggestions. So if anybody has a suggestion about that or would like to see a feature in it, please let me know.
All right, I do have one last thing before we do shut down for the day. This one's kind of important / interesting. So there is a new or an update to Stampado ransomware, and as Bleeping Computer says it, they are taking ransomware scumbaggery to the next level. So not only does this ransomware target your average file document and file extensions, they also target other ransomware extensions. So if your files have already been encrypted by one ransomware, this ransomware will re-encrypt those files, so then you essentially have to pay twice to get your files back. So you have to pay this one first, and then you have to pay the next one again. Nick, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you.
Yeah?
Oh, now we can hear you.
Oh. I was about to talk, and then I was just, the scumbaggery is that they're probably behind the other ransomware too.
Well, no, they target various different types, so I don't know if they're.
I mean, well,
They probably are behind
They
one.
probably have affiliate programs with all of those ransomware as a service.
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
so
they wouldn't have to in this case. They could just be
true.
making
they
money.
could just,
off
yeah,
of
well, they
it.
could just, you know, a couple of different accounts, and I mean, you know, a couple of different Bitcoin accounts or whatever, and you know, do different encryption. I mean, different extensions, and just pretend. I don't know. I mean, who cares?
They could. Oh well, and that's
Scumbaggery.
I
I mean,
guess-
if you get encrypted once. I don't.
yeah. That's pretty scumbag-ish anyway. But
Excuse me.
but what's interesting though is technically they could do kind of what you might have been just saying, is they could make a ransomware that pretends that it's two different ransomwares and
Yeah.
ransoms you once and then ransoms you a second time, and essentially would double their ransom income. So thanks for us giving out that idea to them. Please don't do that. That's terrible.
First thing I thought of. Surely they are doing
Why
it.
don't you show off your shirt, Brantley?
Because you probably can't read it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, it's a little tiny for the.
Oh, yeah, that's really hard to read. I can't read that.
Yeah, let's just Yeah, don't you have a link or something?
No, there's no link for this. And no, I'm not going to take a picture of it, but maybe you can pause it and use some digital neural networking.
Enhance.
There you go. Bang on your keyboard while you do that. That'll do it. All right, so I think that'll wrap us up for today. Phoenix wants to point out that Chrome just pushed out an update. Yay. And I think the update that they pushed out makes it so you can play HTML5 videos in the background on Android was the significant.
I hope that's not the one that they take away the, what are they taking away that I use all the time? Oh, the backspace key.
They already did that.
You have to bury that in, what, really? Oh,
They already took it away and then they gave it back as an extension.
Oh.
So you have to install
I
an
saw
extension.
people commenting on that thread and they were like, whoa, it shouldn't have been there in the first place, you know, or whatever, because it's bad UI. And I'm like, no, it's bad design to take away something that's been there since the dawn of web browsers. That's bad. You know, that people actually use and rely on. Just because you don't, because you were born last year, you know, come on.
I don't use my keyboard to navigate my web browser very often either, so I could care less what keys they put where. I do, if they didn't replace it with a different key, then I could understand being upset with it, but
They're not. I mean, what you have to, or there's some other, maybe it was a combination or something, I know, but you had to go re-enable it, I think, in the settings. Like in about flags or whatever. You had to search for it with some obscure name or something. I was like, man, that's stupid.
Anyway, they'll make updates, they'll change them, come back with regressions and all kinds of fun.
Yeah, it's because they know they're stupid. Google screws everything up with UI anyway. That's been proven across all of their products. They screw everything up.
Eventually.
Eventually, yeah. It's like they start out really good and then they screw up everything that they did. It made it appeal to people in the first place.
Yep. All right.
I will leave you. Let me leave. Brantley, I'm thanking you for turning me on to this show a long time ago. Just watching this. It's a good one. Just leaving y'all with the little sword fighting video for the weekend.
Okay. Is that,
you know it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back on Monday and we will see you then. So
awesome.
Take